If I recall, One Country Cookie in the beginning of this conversation, she spoke on Miss Taken, please, you go ahead.
You can finish your thought. Go ahead. I'll come after you. You already started. That's fine.
One Country Cookie, you mentioned about how you would have handled the situation differently, as in you wouldn't have said anything with the camera, but you would have took her out to the back and beat her up, something like that. Did you say that? So
I said if she called me a monkey. I never said if I looked over at her computer and saw a monkey. But
okay.
yes, I did.
And then the second point I just wanted to make, on which I am piggybacking off of something I mentioned earlier, was the troublemakers, the disruptors, the people who care about these microaggressions as it relates to racism, in culture and politics, everything that affects our everyday lives. If it wasn't for Malcolm X, if it wasn't for Rosa Parks, if it wasn't for W.D. Bois, if it wasn't for the people who cared about these things that caused trouble, that went against the current, we would not be in the position that we are today. So all I'm saying is that you may not see the value, you may not perceive the importance of things like that, but it is important. And history has shown its importance. And history has shown the importance of people speaking up about these things to create safe space for Black people to have rights and to just be in a better position.
Was she
look,
unsafe?
I hear what she's saying and all that. Oh, go ahead. My bad, mistaken. Go ahead.
Okay. Actually, that was one of the points that I wrote down too, Angela, in regards to the comment that I can't remember who made it about recording everything. And I do agree with that. That I absolutely agree with this generation recording everything. So that's where I think the power of discernment comes in terms of knowing when to record. So I had actually mentioned like situations like Rodney King, George Floyd, Ahmaud Arbery, all of those things were recorded. Had that not been recorded, we would not have seen, even though we know as a community that these things happen, the broader community did not know. So it looked like we were crazy. And this kind of stuff doesn't happen. And it brought a level of awareness to it. So that was one of the points that I made. Also, in terms of hypotheticals about, well, she chose to put herself in that school. She, chose to sit at the front of the class. Well, that is the point of being able to have choice, is that you can do all of these things, but it should not be do these things with the expectation that you're going to be treated disrespectful or encounter, microaggressions or what have you. So it made me think about, Brown versus Board of Education, where the ruling basically said that separate but equal is inherently unequal. And the idea is to be able to give people options without having to deal with being in an environment that's going to create a situation in which they can't, feel comfortable, and in a learning institution, it's a public environment. So everybody should be able to, sit where they want, basically. I have more to say, but I'm going to stop because I'm going to respect the time. Go ahead.
She didn't record that girl calling her a monkey, though.
One thing that's crazy to me, though, is like how disingenuous we can be in situations as Black people. It's like Black people, especially if you go on even just Twitter, right? Black people are the most race joking, not take shit serious people in the world. On Twitter, you could see them call white people mayonnaise people. I'm telling you, if any sexual crime happens, everybody's commenting, sounds about white. Anytime you see somebody not cooking right, you see the comments, white people, sounds about white. So my thing is, like, we have no problem making racial jokes about white people in our community all the time. And I feel like we'll do it at a comedy club to their face and expect them to laugh and chuckle, and it's cool. But now you go on you looking at somebody else's laptop and you feel like that's a reason to be angry. That's crazy to me. We make racial jokes all the time, but the moment somebody don't like us, it's like the end of the world. It's a big problem. Oh my God, these are microaggressions that need to be stopped. Who the hell cares? Honestly, this is why I miss the 90s, because in the 90s, People were open about their racism. People were able to laugh and joke about their racism, and nobody gave a fuck. A racist white guy could sit in a bar with a racist black guy, and the racist white guy would be like, whatever, nigga, and the racist black guy would be like, whatever, cracker, and they both have a drink and laugh about it, and nobody dies at the end of the day. But nowadays, everybody's so sensitive and is so worried about everybody else's words and what everybody says. Yo, again, personally, it's people in the comments saying all type of crazy shit about me. The crazy shit is that they're saying this about me, and I'm the guy that would never go to a predominantly white institution because I would never want to deal with this to begin with. I'm not trying to be friends with white people. I'm not trying to make them like me and accept me. I'm not looking in their phones hoping that they say nice things about me. I don't give a motherfucker about them. The last thing I'm thinking about is white people, and the fact that y'all are sitting here praising this girl for being so pressed about what was on this white girl's phone is crazy to me. She need to mind her business, and y'all are acting like this is crazy. Like, for real, like, shorty is bugging, and y'all are sitting here backing it up like somebody did something to her. Nobody did nothing to her. She went to them people's school, went and sat next to them people in their row, and went and put her nosy ass eyes in that white girl laptop and saw something she ain't like. If I go through my girl phone and I see something I don't like, that's my fault. If I go in my man's phone and I see that he's smashing my ex, that's my problem. I shouldn't have been in the nigga phone. How do we understand this in one-on-one relationships? But somehow we're saying that this girl is justified for being mad at being in the phone that somebody that wasn't even her fucking friend. Y'all are crazy, bro. Like y'all are literally just trying to be offended at every goddamn thing, and it's sickening. Like, black people, like pick your goddamn titties and nuts up and walk with some goddamn pride instead of sitting here being worried about what some white bitch think about you. You dumb. Like, do black people not have no pride no more? Like, do we not? Like, she should be happy when she look in the mirror that she's black. She should never care what a white person got to think about her. Are you dumb? Like, that don't make no damn sense to me. But at the end of the day, y'all can do what y'all want to do, man. Y'all can love white people and try to impress them and care what they think about them, about y'all all y'all want. I know my time's up, but I'm gonna talk my shit anyway.
Go ahead, Jay.
You're being kind of repetitive, but I respect it. But listen,
but I'm gonna talk my shit regardless.
Talk your shit by all means.
Yeah.
But what only thing I want to say, I'm gonna make it really short, is that I love us because we're so strong and we're so resilient. But what I just feel like is sometimes our resiliency makes us numb. And that's really what I'm afraid of, because the people that weren't numb are the people that really moved the needle for our people. So I just want us to just understand that everything starts off with the smallest of aggressions, and we just have to be mindful. I'm not even really necessarily just talking about this young lady, but just in general. Let's not be so dismissive of people's experiences, because you really don't know what she feels like unless you're her. And like I said, I've been in those scenarios before, and it's easy. It's like the pull yourself up by your bootstraps rhetoric. It's like, trauma is very real, and we don't want to dismiss that. Trauma is genetic, and it's literally in our blood. So it's just important to just acknowledge what other people are going through. And while it may not affect you, Cloud, or me, or the way it affected her, and it was disrespectful, and it was racism. It was covert racism that she experienced. That's all I want to say.
So what do we just sit there and see with DJ So Lovely? Was that considered microaggression? Was that an example of microaggression, so I can have a understanding? Is that what she just did to Cloud when she told that man his time was up? Was that considered? Would y'all consider that microaggression?
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
I was acknowledging the time.
No. I got you, but that was
You're a good
considered
defender,
microaggression.
though. I like that. It's entertaining. I see why they have you.
No, I'm trying to tell you facts, because that's what y'all do to us, and it's okay. But let them white folks do it. It's not okay. That's what I'm trying. That's what I'm using the example for, man. You just gave a prime example. We've seen it live and in person. Shout out to you. Thank you for doing that, man.
You curse a lot. You're very loud. You say audacious things. I get your stick. It's very cool. I like it.
Shout out to your microaggression. Shout out to you, man. Thank you.
Shout out to your macroaggression. Shout out to that.
Whatever the word is. Thank you for correcting me with the word. Thank you, man.